This is the new BMW 2 Series Gran Coupé. Will India get it? And in this powerful, exciting avatar. Here's our exclusive review of the new generation sedan. Meet the new M235. Well, I'll tell you what, if you've got to get one of these, get it in this color. Just look at that. Makes such a statement, right? First glance, you straight away know it's the 2 Series, and yet there are some specific design elements that are brand new, very edgy. Now, first things first, this is the M235, so of course, it has a little bit of that extra edginess, something that the stock car will not have. So let's get past that. But look at the way the lines have been sort of sculpted into the hood. You've even got a little dip here for the logo, and while, of course, all of this plays a role in the aerodynamics, it's also all about the styling. The grille, it's nice and sort of compact and taut, and we saw this with the new 1 Series, a car that we sadly don't get. It just is a more ample-looking car than the previous generation. This one, like I said, has all the sporty elements. Look at those wheels. You've also got the M badge here, the little blacked-out elements as well. Proportion-wise, size-wise, this is almost looking like how the 3 Series used to be a few years ago, right? Nice and roomy, and yet sort of taut enough to be really sporty on the road. That's the whole appeal of the car. That's what it was with the last one. I think it's kind of grown with this one. And it's all grown up in the way it drives too. Very much like its elder sibling. For decades, it used to be the 3 Series that was the step-in or the entry point to this brand for a lot of buyers. Now, for the last several years, it has been either the X1 or the 2 Series. And especially when you think about this particular configuration, the 4-door sedan, in terms of size, in terms of appeal, in many ways it is like the 3 Series from many years ago, which means it also needs to be a driver's car first. We saw that with the previous generation, and luckily, a large part of that stays intact with this one. But this is a front-wheel drive once again. So, does it still drive like a BMW? Now, you can argue that this isn't about potent performance or being very sporty. Well, at the end of the day, there are other cars in the portfolio for that. But given the fact that this is a sort of a humble entry sedan, it still does a fair amount. This particular one is the range topper, the M235. This is, of course, the 2-liter. It's about 296 VHV and still gives you 400 Nm of torque. The good news is that because it's been tuned to be that little bit of extra performer in its character, it still does the job quite well. It's responsive, it's fairly quick, and you put it into sport, it really comes alive. You also get the M suspension, and that is where a lot of people are going to find this one, because don't forget, even in India, the kind of buyer who would want a car like this is someone who's going to want to drive it themselves. Now, when it comes to the India spec, we'll have to wait and see exactly what we get in terms of the configuration. But if you go back and look at what the previous generation had, I don't think it's very difficult to guess what we're going to be getting. I mentioned the suspension, I mentioned the fact that it is still pretty good in terms of its acceleration and overall power delivery. But what I can tell you is that the steering is also just as responsive as you would expect it to be. It's pretty engaging. And of course, right now I have the privilege of being able to drive this on an Autobahn. But even on regular roads or B roads, this is going to be a very engaging and fun car because it doesn't feel big. It feels nice and taut, nice and sporty. It's retained that character. The cabin has the M treatment, cool red and blue accents, and backlit trim on the dash. Very sporty. Now, if you opt for the M Sport seats, prepare for some firmness. They're well-shaped though, and even boast an inlit M logo. In the back, passengers under 6 feet will find this comfortable enough. Headroom is not bad, by the way, despite that low roofline. Tech is dominated by a 10.3-inch instrument cluster with the latest graphics and a generous 10.7-inch infotainment screen. The curved unit is angled towards the driver. More on this on the India spec soon. Standard features include wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, plus a handy wireless charging pad. For those who love more gadgets and more tech, an optional technology package adds a high-resolution camera, augmented reality navigation, and even automated parking. And there is also head-up display and a whole host of safety features including ADAS. A lot to love then. But India is not getting a powerful version or the diesel or the X-Drive, which is the all-wheel drive. What we get is the 218. Now, that is the base or the entry Gran Coupe. BMW is going to try and play the value card with this car. But having said that, it is a car that would still offer pretty good performance and sporty driving. So Mercedes-Benz will have to think hard because the A-Class sedan could be on its way out. Does this mean the electric CLA will be enough to take it on? It's still a missed opportunity in terms of not bringing us the powerful version, but who knows, a later limited version for our market perhaps? Strictly for the enthusiasts? Yes, please. Or should I say, yeah, bitte.